Welcome, everyone. My name is Yuna with Plano Public Library, and I want to thank you all for joining us for today's program. Please note, your microphone and video have been turned off. We welcome your questions, which you can type into the chat at any time. The chat icon is at the bottom of the screen. My colleague Jackie and I will be monitoring the chat to assist you with any issues and bring questions to the attention of our presenter. We will be sure to leave time for questions, and we'll also share information about the library resources for your career development or job search at the end of this presentation. Please note that this program is being recorded and will be made available on the Plano Public Library YouTube page for later viewing. Cities provide many services for their residents, and doing the work requires good people. Today and in coming weeks, find out about how different departments serve Plano residents and the types of job opportunities that can be found to work for the City of Plano. Today, we'll hear from Echo Rexroad from the Environmental Health and Sustainability Department. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, very good. Thank you. So yes, today I'm going to talk with you about the Environmental Health and Sustainability Department and what it means to be working with us as a career. We'll go over what environmental health and sustainability are, what we do, what each of our 3 divisions are responsible for, and the qualifications that someone will need in order to work with us. Okay. Next slide, thank you. So many think of environmental health as environmentalism, or as you can see here, as we're all tree huggers. While that may be a portion of what we do, we are more focused on how the environment, this could be social, economic, or natural, impacts the health of the public in all capacities. Next slide. So in general, sustainability is defined as fulfilling the needs of the current generations without compromising the needs of future generations. This is accomplished by ensuring a balance between economic, environmental, and social health in a community. Sustainability is also an integral part of the environmental health. So the environment can mean your natural environment, social environment, or the economic environment. Sustainability is considered, we think of it as just a 3-legged stool, as you see here, and all 3 of those legs need to be healthy for a community to thrive into the future. Next slide. So environmental health and sustainability is an extremely broad field encompassing many, many areas, as you see here. In Plano, we are mainly focused on food safety, swimming pool sanitation, stormwater and water quality, fats, oils, and grease coming from our restaurants, and sustainability and environmental education. The focus will vary depending on where you work. Other programs that you can find yourself in the field if you're not working with us include regulation of septic systems, water, oil, or gas well regulations, landfills, compost sites, campgrounds, hotels, poultry farms, dairies, or many other related areas. We are also involved in emergency response. So oftentimes you may see us out there with the fire department on the highways if there's some type of spill due to a wreck. We're out there making sure that nothing is getting discharged into the environment. We also oversee noise and lighting requirements in the city, smoking complaints, and vector or mosquito management or control. Our Sustainability and Environmental Education Division covers a broad variety of subjects. Some are listed here, but I'll be going over a few more of those shortly. Because it's a broad field, there are opportunities at many levels of government and in academia and in private industry. Some examples seen here are for the Centers for Disease Control, Food and Drug Administration, the U.S. Department of Ag, the Indian Health Service, U.S. Public Health Service. So you'll have opportunities in state and health departments, local health departments, such as counties or cities, private industry, like consulting, and also academia. Next slide. The mission of the Environmental Health and Sustainability Department in the City of Plano is to protect the health of the people and the environment and to promote a sustainable community. Our vision is healthy people, healthy environment, sustainable community. So we are about protection and prevention. The environmental health, like public health, continuously works on upstream solutions, solving issues before they become a problem, and at least that's our goal. And so we are not usually seen in the spotlight, and much of what we do is behind the scenes work that it's not noticed. So this would need to be okay for someone working in this field. Excuse me. Here is our organizational chart for our department in Plano. Excuse me. Our department consists of 3 divisions, promoting community health, safety, and sustainable lifestyles through education, outreach, and compliance with applicable laws and ordinances. So you can see here, we have 6 full-time administrators working in our department. Our environmental health team has 12 full-time employees. Our environmental quality team has 9, and our sustainability and environmental education, we also call them SEED, has 10 full-time employees. So I'm going to discuss with you what each of our divisions does. We'll start with our environmental health division. Next slide. So the Environmental Health Division provides proactive control measures and surveillance for food and waterborne diseases. Environmental health specialists ensure compliance with ordinances related to food safety and public pool safety and sanitation. This is accomplished through education, inspections, and response to requests for services. Additionally, staff perform compliance response or complaint response, foodborne illness investigations, and enforcement activities as needed. Education is a real key component to this division's responsibilities, and it's conducted alongside routine inspections on a daily basis. Okay, so here are just a few data points showing the impact of this division. You'll see the food data that's on the left and the pool data that is on the right. For the food data, we have over 1,700 facilities that we inspect each year. While that's true, we also have over 1,800 inventories, so permits that we're dealing with on an annual basis. And last fiscal year, we performed over 4,300 inspections of these facilities. As you can see on the right side, for pools, we have 410 public pools that we inspect each year. And last year, we had around 650 inspections that we performed at those facilities. So getting into the kind of fun and gross stuff of what we do, many people really want to see what we experience during our inspections. So I'm just going to show a few slides that depict what you might see in the field. And while these pictures are not a majority of what our restaurants look like, and they would be considered outliers, they do show a reality of situations that we find ourselves in, and that we are able to intervene in a scenario that could lead to actual foodborne illness. That is our goal. So the work of the environmental health specialists do on a daily basis is extremely critical to the health of our community. Okay, next slide. So this just kind of gives you an example of what we might see in the field and why environmental health specialist is so important to the health of our community. As you can see here, these are 2 buckets, each having mold on the outside or in the inside container of it. And on the left one, it's stored underneath some boxes with no lid. So just not what you want to see before you go out to eat or where you're eating. Next slide. Here is another filthy container. As you can see, there's no lid, there's a scoop and a handle in the flour, which could cause cross-contamination. And one of the most disturbing things that you might not have noticed here is that this flour bin is being stored in the employee's bathroom. Next slide. So this was an investigation that we did along with Property Standards Division in our Neighborhood Services Department. And this was in response to a complaint. Here you have a yam or a sweet potato on the left that's been gnawed on, and a light fixture stained with rat urine. And then if you can click one more time, a dead rat, as you can see right there. So this establishment had a severe live rodent infestation. This establishment is no longer in business, and you can probably imagine why. I don't know if I mentioned to you that you're going to need a strong stomach to work in this career, especially in the environmental health and the environmental quality side while conducting enforcement. Next slide. This is one of my favorite videos to show. Just to give you a little background here, on the right side of the pic is the side of an ice machine. And on the left side is the employee's hand sink. And you can note the roach above the soap dispenser. So please begin the video. So this is a very bad roach infestation, a lot of young roaches. You can see them moving alongside the metal cover there. And of course, we closed this restaurant. So no longer a problem. All right, next slide. So now let's get to the Environmental Quality Division and what we do. Next slide. So the Environmental Quality Division is responsible for stormwater management and inspections, mosquito, or what we also call vector control, and response to environmental nuisances. Stormwater management is the largest program in this division, and most of their activities are connected to this program in some way. This is a federally and state mandated program. So the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, tells the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to tell the city what to do. And so we operate under a 5-year permit from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. And the goal of that permit is to reduce pollutants from entering the city's storm sewer system and ultimately our waters and creeks. The environmental quality specialist inspects stormwater outfalls to our creeks, and we have over 3,000 outfalls in the city. So within our 5-year permit term, each one must be inspected at least once. So that's over 600 outfalls inspected a year. We also inspect the creeks for biodiversity, and we monitor the health of our watersheds. The inspectors also look at industrial facilities to ensure that nothing bad is running off into our water from those facilities. We also respond to complaints of illegal discharges into the creeks as well. And then separate of stormwater, we also have our vector control program, or our mosquito control program. Specialists conduct surveillance and monitoring for mosquito-borne diseases throughout the city annually during mosquito season. Other programs that we inspect our liquid waste haulers, our grease traps at our restaurants, construction sites for erosion control, best management practices, and we respond to nuisance complaints such as stagnant water, noise, light, or smoking. So just to kind of give you an idea of our impact, this past fiscal year, we inspected 606 outfalls. We did over almost 800 facility inspections, and we had 477 complaints. Facility inspections range from everything from auto-related businesses, industrial facilities. We even inspect our own municipal facilities to ensure that we are not contributing anything bad into our stormwater system. So these are the grease traps that I mentioned before that you'll find at a restaurant. Inspectors here are taking a sample to measure the percentage of solids and fats, oils, and grease in the trap. Most restaurants are required to have these grease traps, and they're inspected regularly by our staff. I believe there are around 1,400 totals in the city. The inspections ensure that the traps are maintained properly and pumped on a regular basis. Well, this protects our sewer lines from becoming clogged with grease that can cause a sanitary sewer overflow and make its way into our creeks. This program is designed to proactively identify issues in the field prior to an environmental disaster occurring. So this is an example of what can happen if they are not maintaining their grease traps properly. As you can see here, there is a sanitary sewer overflow that's occurring. So all of that sewer water is getting into the nearby creek and lake. Next slide. And this is a fish kill. So one of the reasons why we do what we are doing is to protect our environment and the animals in it. This fish kill was caused by a sanitary sewer overflow. So sewer water reached the creeks and killed these fish. Other times we've had fish kills are from other illicit discharges, just from hazardous waste getting discharged into a stream, such as oil or gas or anything of that nature that can cause these fish kills. So we provide oversight to large construction sites as well, and we do this to control the erosion runoff to the city's storm drains and ultimately to our waterways. Sediment is the #1 pollutant in the state of Texas, so we really have a big job out there when we're doing this. The inspectors ensure that best management practices are in place at all times to control this. If you're asking yourself what a best management practice may be, a good example of that can be seen, and I'm sure you see them daily when you're driving by a construction site, but you'll have black silt fences along the perimeter of the site, and that is to prevent all of that sediment from running off into the street, which then gets into the storm drain inlets, which then gets into our streams. You can see the issues in the pictures of here, and you can see just what a significant amount of soil and sediment are running off the site. So it's our job to go out there and stop that from happening. Next slide. So mosquito surveillance and control. Between April and November, weather dependent, mosquito traps are set throughout the city on a weekly basis. And we're doing this mainly to test for West Nile. We also test for Zika and chikungunya. Although this is monitored by the state, we haven't had any locally acquired cases, thankfully. We focus on proactive measures to control these mosquitoes, including response to stagnant water complaints and a lot of larviciding prior to and during the season. It's much easier to control mosquitoes at the larval stage before they can fly and bite us. So next slide, I'm sorry. And there's one of our traps, sorry, I jumped ahead. And then next slide, please. Okay. So we receive stagnant water complaints year round. We respond to these complaints to larvicide. We check the pool for larvae, and if we do see any, then we ask the owner if we can larvicide the pool. And then that is to kill the mosquito larvae before they become adults and become a real nuisance. Okay, and now I'm going to jump into our SEED division, our Sustainability Environmental Education division. Next slide. So the Sustainability and Environmental Education Division educates and engages the community in sustainable practices and environmental stewardship. In the sustainability realm, the division is responsible for our Sustainability Implementation Plan, which is a strategic plan for sustainability initiatives based on a gap analysis that our program does every few years. Implementation is accomplished with the assistance of many partners, both within and external to the city. Areas of focus are related to 3 pillars of sustainability, which are social, economic, and environmental health. And these include water quality and conservation, waste minimization, air quality, natural systems and open space, health and safety, economy, arts and culture, and access to services. In the realm of education, programs such as classes and events support sustainability priorities and address environmental considerations of day-to-day living. They include waste reduction, litter removal, yard and garden, water quality and conservation, energy, and air quality. We offer in-person virtual classes as well as online learning and webinars on demand. You can find those on our website. We also organize a number of events throughout the year. The largest of these are the Great American Cleanup and the Texas Recycle Day. But others also include Waterwise Landscape Tour, which is really popular. That's a free self-guided tour of our sustainable Plano landscapes that thrive in the summer heat and conserve water. The division also oversees management and operation of the Environmental Education Center and the Plano Community Garden, its volunteers, and the volunteers who staff the Household Chemical Reuse Center. Additionally, our Live Green in Plano volunteers contribute to many activities, including litter cleanups, events, storm drain labeling, working in the Plano Community Garden, and much more. Last fiscal year, we had over 330 active volunteers that donated around 5,900 hours of their time. So this is a screenshot from one of the many webinars that we do offer. Last year, we did 173 presentations to over 6,000 residents. We also offer online learning modules on our website on subjects of recycling, composting, energy efficiency, water conservation, and much more. We had just under 3,000 views of these modules last year. I'm pretty proud of that. Next slide. So the division organizes a number of events throughout the year. The largest of these, again, are the Great American Cleanup and the Texas Recycle Day. GAC is a community litter cleanup event that we conduct in April, and the Texas Recycle Day is a drive-through recycling event for residents. These pictures here are from our Waterwise landscape tour that takes place in October. And then we also offer other miscellaneous family events throughout the year. So we have a very robust volunteer program specifically focused on environmental opportunities, and we have a great number of people in Plano that are volunteers. We really appreciate all of that they do for us and our community. This includes litter cleanups and storm drain labeling. We use volunteers at our classes and events outreach. We also operate a community garden where over 4,000 volunteer hours were donated to work in the garden last year and produced over 4,500 pounds of produce for distribution to food pantries. And just as a side note, during the pandemic, the community garden was one of the volunteer opportunities that we did keep open due to the type of work that they do. Okay, so what kind of people work in the environmental health and sustainability field? So what's so attractive about this career? So if they love science and want to protect the environment, if they are passionate about the environment and its impact on public health, if they have an interest in the public health and protecting current and future generations, if they like to teach, help others, and serve in their community. And note, you need to be able to do all of this without a lot of recognition. It's a very much behind the scenes job. If you have a preference for a variety of job duties, and if you enjoy working outside or in places other than an office most of the time, there are opportunities or options in multiple sectors, which is really nice. For example, if you work for a nonprofit, you may be able to work in a developing country. You also can do things for private industries such as consulting. And the good thing is that as our population grows in North Texas or in Texas in general, more opportunities will exist for this field, and this will be especially in the area of environment and sustainability. So what do you need to have? What qualifications do you need to have to work with us? So to begin, in our entry-level qualifications, for an environmental health specialist, you'll need to have a bachelor's degree in an environmental health-related field. You'll need to have at least 1 year of experience. And we do consider internships. The one thing I can tell you that if you're still, and I know you probably have heard this many times, but if you're still in school or if you're currently not employed and you have the opportunity to do an internship, do it. Do it. It is one of the best things that we like to see when we look at a resume, when we're looking for applicants. We're looking through our applicants. So 1 year of experience, and then once you begin employment with us, we require you to have your registered sanitarian certificate within 1 year. For the environmental quality specialist, again, you'll have to have a bachelor's degree in an environmental health related field. You'll need to have 1 year of experience, and once you are employed with us, we do require that you get your non-commercial pesticide applicator's license within 1 year, since we are spraying for those mosquitoes. And then for the environmental education and outreach coordinator positions, you'll need to have a bachelor's in environmental studies field, and you'll need to have at least 2 years in the program management or in teaching. And again, internships are considered. We do promote to senior based on experience and additional certifications once you're with us. And depending on the candidate pool, we may actually waive the experience requirement in favor of training. So if a candidate pool isn't very strong, or if we see a lot of potential in one particular person, then we are willing to waive that experience requirement. Next. And now I just wanted to throw in here that we just have a lot of fun. This is one of our specialists helping what appears to be a snapping turtle back into the stream. I think this actually made it into the news somehow, but we just really enjoy what we do majority of the time. Next slide. And this is us doing our biomonitoring in the streams. And this looks like a red ear slider. If you can click it one more time, you can get a close up on that. Looks like a little red ear slider that was getting a ride on our flow meter equipment. Next slide. And then our seed team also gets to get into some pretty gross stuff too, on occasion, not very often. But here they are at a waste audit digging through piles of trash to determine contamination rates with the recyclables. They also find some pretty disgusting things during their litter cleanups. But overall, we just have a lot of fun while also having the opportunity to protect our community and the environment. Okay, and I believe now if we have any questions.
We do have a couple questions. Um, when and how do you clean out creeks of tires and trash?
That is done through our sustainability program, our seed division, and you would just need to reach out to our team, and we can get you on the list of volunteers to do that. We have schools that like to do it. We have families that come and volunteer with us. We have industrial facilities that like to come and help us clean out our streams. HOAs, you can just do it by yourself. We can add you to the list of volunteers that we just compile everyone together, and they get out there, and if you have a stream in mind that you'd like to clean up, or we'd love to take all of that into consideration. We also have streams that have been we've been monitoring that we know are that may have more trash than others, and so we'll go out to those sites and clean up those sites. But really, you just need to get in touch with our department, and we'll get you in touch with the right person to have you volunteer with us.
Sounds like great opportunities. Another question from an attendee is, how does the city environmental health department connect with code and compliance to protect the public tenants from property management companies and landlords that are negligent in providing safe living conditions?
That's a great question. We work side by side with our code compliance. As one of the examples I gave before was the restaurant that had, I think it was the rat infestation, where we were called in and had to ensure that our patrons there were not being exposed to anything that was not good for their health. We also work with the county on a lot of those, a lot of issues such as that. But I would say probably on a monthly basis, we're getting called by our code partners over in code and helping them with issues that they might see in the field. I'm not sure if I answered that question. It was kind of a long question. Is there something else there that I missed maybe?
There's another question regarding the educational requirements. Are there any scenarios where education requirements can be waived?
We definitely require that you have some type of bachelor's, and a lot of the ability to promote also requires that. And so you would definitely need a certain number of hours that are in that particular field. But if you have our environmental field, I can say that we do have one person that, again, like I said before, we waive your experience based on just like who you are as a candidate or the potential that we might see in you. We may also do that. You would still need to have a degree, but it doesn't necessarily. We have at least one or two in our division that don't have an environmental degree, but they had an internship or they had experience in the field that showed that they cared about the environment, that they were really working towards doing something in the field of environmental health and safety. So it's not, I wouldn't say that it's all black and white, but it is very important that someone has some type of degree with what we do.
And one last question. Describe a problem you were able to solve in the field or a resident need you were able to serve.
Okay. It's another great question. So I would say I'm going to just go back to something that happened a couple of weeks ago. We had a number of residents that were contacting our department saying they were smelling gasoline and they felt like it was coming out of a storm drain line. So our team went out and they started an outfall, and they also could smell gasoline. Then they traced it back, going from manhole to manhole, and they traced it back to a gas station. And we determined that one of the when they were fueling, or when they were adding gasoline into the underground storage tank, that the gentleman who was doing that, I guess, looked away for a little too long, and he overfueled the tank. And so all of that gasoline went into the nearby storm drain inlet, and that went into the nearest creek. So we were able to boom up that outfall so that the gasoline couldn't go any further. We then contacted the state. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality got involved. Unfortunately, they did do enforcement on that gas station, but that was something that we felt that, pretty happy that we were able to resolve for our community and the environment. Anything else?
So we do have a couple more questions regarding degrees. So an attendee said, I have a bachelor's degree from outside of the United States. Is that the eligibility fit for a bachelor's degree in the job?
Yes, absolutely. We accept degrees outside of the United States.
Does your department have internship opportunities?
Every once in a while, we do have an internship opportunity. Those often look like someone helping us in the field setting out mosquito traps, or helping us do illicit discharge detection elimination. That's our outfall screenings. So absolutely, we do. And that's for our environmental quality division for environmental health. They do have interns that I believe have helped them with a lot of data management, but you also have the opportunity to go out into the field with the specialist and see what they do. So if you are interested in an internship, please do contact us, because even if you want a job shadow, we are happy to have you job shadow with us. It doesn't even have to be an internship if you don't have the time or the ability to do that right now.
Okay, we are running out of time, so we'll end the presentation here. Thank you, Echo, for being with us. That's a wonderful presentation, and I learned a lot, and then it seems very fun job. Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Okay. And to wrap up our presentation and the program today, so I'd like to introduce and share a few resources that library can provide. For your skill building, the library offers the LinkedIn Learning courses and also Udemy courses, which you can access from library website using your library card. And we also have our technology programs and technology services. And we also have a digital creative space called the DCS for graphics and audio, music, or animation you made. And for job search resources, we have a programs and resources about the resume design, job search, and business research, career exploration. And if you need help, one-on-one help, and you can make an appointment with our librarian and at our website. We also provide a business news and lots of the ebooks and e-magazines you can read and check out in our website. Also, in addition, we have a fun program like art and creativity, and also we have a language learning program, online program, and also bilingual backpacks. You can check it out. And also we have a lot of family engagement program too. And these are some information of upcoming classes. Job Resources Connection will be at the Harrington Library. And also the next Exploring City of Plano job course will be in the virtual. And also job searching with the Google programs will be in the Harrington, both in Harrington and online. It's a hybrid program. So also we have a lot of technology program, which you can have an information, either event calendar or our Engage brochure. And find more information about all City of Plano job opportunities on the city's website. And we'll put the link on the chat site for your information. And thank you again for being with us today. Have a great afternoon.